ACAC. The past few years, it's been Woodland, it's been Adams Central. Do you see that as the case this year? And if so, what are going to be some of the keys for both of those teams? Because Woodland graduated a few players, but they got a big chunk of their core back.
Similar to the SAC, I think Woodland, the only team that can beat Woodland in this conference is Woodland. I think, and we saw it happen last year in the postseason. Not to take anything away from South Adams, but Woodland was a far superior team athletically than South Adams. They just were they were overconfident. And a lot of those juniors last year that are now seniors say that senior class was overconfident. We go to the semi-state and lose to Whiting, a game away from the state championship the year before. They're ranked #1 in 2A last year. They just bought into their hype and got clipped early. So this is, I think, a refocused Woodland team. You look at the personnel and you say maybe this is their last big shot at a deep postseason run, potential state championship. So how is this team focused? And I think if it is spot on and ready to play, it sweeps through this conference, maybe has a close game against an Adams Central, maybe even a Jay County, who I think is vastly improved. But other than that, if this Woodland team is focused like Coach Haydock wants them to be, I think it is deep into the postseason before this team is really challenged.
I mentioned at the beginning this is the 10th year for Inside the Zone. I think they only have like Adams Central's third different starting quarterback since then. Because it's like, you know.
Andrew Hammond was there for like 7 years, it seemed like.
Dalton Combs was a 15-year starter there. So obviously they have to change things in terms of the quarterback position. It looks like Parker Bates is going to be the guy there. But Drew Schultz comes back specifically in that conference. That dude is a load and put up some pretty impressive numbers last year. Yeah,
and the scary thing about Drew Schultz, he probably got bigger from last year. He looked like the high schooler playing against middle schoolers last year in a lot of those ACAC games. He's only going to be bigger and stronger, playing both ways, of course, linebacker and running back. So a big bruiser for Adams Central. How does Parker Bates kind of grow into his role throughout the season? And then, of course, we can expect them to play Week 9, Woodland and Adams Central again. So maybe the ACAC comes down to them that game again.
And you mentioned Jay County. That was I had Woodland #1, AC #2. But Jay County's coming off a 6-4 season. Cole Stiegelman is back, so they've got some talent offensively. I just think also with the size of that school, and if they get things rolling a little bit on the football field, they should be in the conference discussion every year in terms of conference championships.
Yeah, 4A school, the only 4A in the conference. So you have to think once they have success and you get some of those kids out, and we'll see how that translates onto the field this fall. But, you know, we talked to coaches at Media Day, and a lot of them pointed to Jay County as that team that can really make a jump. Can they surpass Adams Central? Some talk about that maybe they're the second best team in this conference, but it'll be interesting. But I think you put Woodland far and away above it. Do they buy into their hype again? We'll see. I know they're getting some votes to start the year off as being #1 in 2A. We'll see where that goes. It did not help them last year. It was kind of a detriment. We'll see how this team buys into that, having that bullseye on their back this year.
And I think there's some interesting things happening in that conference. South Adams unfortunately lost their best player in Isaiah Baumgartner. That certainly has changed their season, their outlook a little bit as well. And you take a look at Bluffton, who's now under new leadership. Randy Hudgens gone, Brett Kunkel taking over that program. So some interesting changes in the conference.
Yeah, you have some other, you look at Southern Wells and where are they going as well. So some teams I think that are in rebuilding mode and reloading mode as well. But I still think you look at the top of that conference, the usual suspects. South Adams should be there. Maybe get Baumgartner back at some point in the year. That may be wishful thinking, but I think South Adams will have some players.
And I'd like to see what Heritage could do with the quarterback healthy all season long. Nico Tagulas, first-year head coach last year. These guys, I would guess, are ahead of where they were at this point last year, this season. So I'd like to see some progress out there in Monroeville.
Yeah, they get New Haven right off the bat, so we'll see how that goes for Heritage. And then they get Woodland week 3. So maybe they can kind of show something the first couple weeks of the season.